Ever feel stuck or uninspired? Well, here's 20 build ideas for you to help inspire you. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. This is my first video doing this, so I'd appreciate all the love and support down in the comments below. You know, giving me a like and subscribe as well if you like the video. You can actually download this world in the Discord down in the description below. Also, if you have any mod questions like my shaders, even my eyes moving right now, so go check out that Discord. And if you just want to hang out with a nice wholesome community, as well as maybe hang out in the streams, I try to stream every Monday through Thursday, and then as well as just catching my videos whenever they come up as well. That also gives a lot of support to my channel, and I am just trying my best to stay afloat in this YouTube world. So any love and support, and I hope you all enjoy the build ideas. Thank you so much for listening to that. So here are 20 plus build ideas for your survival Minecraft world. Build number 1. Have you ever thought of just making a camp, like a spawn camp for your spawn? Yeah. Well, look no further. Here's my little tent. Is where you spawn in my world. I thought it would be a good idea. So maybe this is a good build idea for you guys if you just want like a little simple build. Good starting area. Pretty simple. You got your basic crafting table and a bed inside. And then you got some like starter supplies in case, you know, you somehow perish. I never perish. I never get slain in my world. But here you got a nice slab of meat, beautiful, gorgeous, just like little details. I added a fallen tree, you know, kind of like a place to sit while you wait for your meat to cook. Gorgeous, right? It's very simple, very easy to replicate. It doesn't even have to be a red tent. And even just adding little details like this path here, just to say this is direction to the, you know, nearest town in case anybody gets lost. Build number 2, maybe build a stable for your nice horses that are roaming around. Nice place for them to stay and have a home. Maybe even add a cat to protect it from creepers. Hi Milo. This is my cat Milo. You're probably wondering why there isn't anybody working here. They're definitely on break. Yeah, let's go with that. They're on break. Had, you know, barrels, hays. Obviously we gotta have hay for food for our little buddies out there. We got a couple of horses here. We got little spots for them to, you know, be sheltered in and have kind of like that stable feel, but also have the ability to just roam around and do whatever they want. It's kind of the vibe I went with. And then as well as I added some obviously food for them as well as water. The guy keeps going on break, so I don't know how these are being filled up. But just a nice pasture for them to roam around and eat grass, I guess. I love it. It's beautiful. This trusty steed right here is my lovely Mabel. This is the one I met on my first adventure out here. But there's so many different types of stable designs. I went with this one. I really like it. I like how it incorporates, you know, the freedom, the roaming around of horses. Build number 3. So why not build some little knickknacks? I don't know what I'm saying. Knickknacks? Just little accessories, little vibes. Maybe like a cart, a well, maybe even some just barrels left around, you know, because of the cart. Even having a storage, a little hut storage, you know, a stockpile as some say. And just adding vibes to your world. Adding trees, custom trees is a great way to add life to your world. Adding lampposts, just kind of having the little things in your world. That is also a great build idea. It adds this like kind of lore, adds a little bit of realness to your world as well. Obviously they need a source of water, they need a source of supplies, and they need a source of storing those supplies as well. Obviously you need trees and leaves. You don't necessarily have to go for a custom tree, but I think custom trees definitely give more life to your world. Just it feels better than the vanilla Minecraft, so going out of your way to just create custom trees, I think it's worth it. And speaking of which, even adding little textures to your builds as well, like adding the mossy leaves and the moss and the leaves is what I meant to say. Not just mossy leaves, but adding the moss and the leaves kind of gives this overgrown feel and makes the world a little more aged. Kind of gives it that age, that vibe, that feel of like how long this world has been here. It's been here a while. Build number 4. Ever thought of creating an inn? Or like maybe a tavern and an inn? This is the tavern part, as you can see, the bottom here. We got another cat named Dell here. Hi Dell, how are you doing? We got our innkeeper keeping on the books. Where's your book, buddy? Oh, got to give him a book. Don't think about that too much. Maybe even just leave some zombie villagers, maybe near the entrance so nobody leaves. I don't know. We got this zombie villager. Not really a zombie. It's supposed to be like an orc in my world. I have like different types of food laid on the plates. You got the bread, we got the steak, we've got the butcher and the cleric. I guess they're kind of like the brewmaster, you know, the kind of like the tavern, the bartender. I forgot the real word. Bartender that kind of tends to the bar as well as the food, you know. And then we got just random villagers with different trades. This kind of like a way of using a trading hall without using just like the line of villagers going around. So I thought this was a great idea for me to a bit of a trading hall. The tables are just obviously their professions. Empty table here. Maybe it got cleaned up, maybe it got destroyed. I don't know. Maybe some people be drinking too much. You don't know. You don't know what's happening in this world, right? I forget that guy exists. And then don't forget the inn part of the whole thing, right? You got the innkeeper, so maybe add some rooms for them to stay in. Very simple designs. You don't have to go out of your way to like create anything crazy. And even inns have kind of like the bare minimum for you to kind of sleep in and stay in. It's usually not heavily decorated. Got the storage system over here. We got a little friend inside here. There might be a little bit of lore into that. Might have to download my world to figure that out. Don't want to spoil everything. Build number 5. Maybe after you've gotten your goods nice to rest, maybe you want to go into town, find some other foods, see what they have in store for you. Seems like they have cakes in here. Maybe you have build a bakery, build a little shop, little food stalls and things for people to check out. Look at this. You got a little. It's like they took a slice of cake, you know, instead of the full cake. You got the full cakes on display here. You got bread. That's the only other bready thing. And I wish pumpkin pies could be placed on tables. That would be so good. Just adding a little bit of things like 3D placement stuff. That would have been so nice. That would have been so nice to have. And then we have a water faucet, you know, classic water glass going into a cauldron, making it look like water's pouring from the faucet. And then we got a little chimney over here. Oh, we got a little bakery area, you know, that's where they place the bread and cooks, and yeah. And then we also have a butcher shop, kind of similar vibes. We got our butcher boy. Maybe you didn't like the meats they had in, so why not have a couple of other things they could sell? You know, you got the chicken, you got the pork chop, you got the steak. This butcher specializes in chicken and steak, you know. You got the kebabs. You got any kebabs? Fresh kebabs, sir? Another shop idea is, you know, why not a soup shop? He's got our soup tender. Our soup seller, I guess. They don't really sell soup, but obviously, you know, it's more of just the idea. I don't know why I didn't display any soup. Oh, that's another thing that would be nice to be able to be like placed like a cake as soup. Why can't we just have soup? I wish Mojang allowed us to place things like soup, maybe glass bottles. I think that would be nice to just have things that already exist in the game to be placeable. I think that would be just such a good vibe. Build number 6. Why not a marketplace? You know, we gotta figure out how these guys sell, make money, and maybe even people travel around the world to sell their goods around here. This person selling pots. I wanted a place to put all my shards that I found exploring, so why not have somebody sell them? A couple pots in different areas. We've got armory, you know, weapons. I don't know how safe this is having this installed, but you know, back in the day they didn't really care about that stuff. And then we've got somebody who specializes in amethyst and maybe even a spyglass. You've got our honey keepers, you got the honey blocks, you even got the actual honey, preserved honey. And then this area is just like, obviously this was more inspired by like farmers market with all the food, all the things they sell in the farmers market, carrots, apples. That's another thing that could be placed. Apples would have been nice. But the fruits over here is kind of like the idea of like apples, you know, strawberries, blueberries, and avocados or something like that. That's kind of the idea of this market. I guess that is Minecraft, right? You gotta kind of use a little bit of your imagination for certain things, because obviously not always gonna have everything available to us. And I left this market stall empty because not everything always is open. So I thought it added more realism to have one at least empty, you know, not being sold, maybe wasn't purchased to sell stuff there. Build number 7. Why not create a whole harbor? Maybe a dock? Maybe start with a dock. Maybe start with a little area for ships to kind of land in. I built this ship. This was kind of my first time building a ship. We've got our docks here. We've got a ship landed. Kind of shows, you know, this is how they get their supplies. This is the best spot for me to also fish. This is where I get all the name tags and all the great items here. We got barrels everywhere. We even have a stack of boats over there. Somehow one of the boats fell out, but you know, maybe that happens. Build number 8, to even add more realism to your docks. Ever thought of maybe creating a storage system? Maybe using that place as your storage system? This is where I store all my items for this world. Pretty much an area where I guess it made sense, because we'd get supplies from ships and we would just have multiple different types of goods in these barrels. So I use barrels. I don't have a large storage system yet. This is pretty much my humble beginnings. I like to take it slow with my forever world, so it's kind of nice to just stay a little small. I don't want to burn myself out and make everything too grand, too big, and it just won't be like as fun, I guess, because everything's available. So I do try to keep it as beginner friendly as I can. This also includes another connection for a little bit of the vibes. This is where the harbor master lives. You know, he's got his little office here, and then he's got his sleeping quarters right there. So he's always ready in case anything happens to the harbor area. Obviously, he's always keeping track. This is my larger storage system, I guess, for like any excess items that I have a lot of. So I just place them in these chests and stuff. I have 2 separate locations, but you know, have one more of just like bulk storage and another one more of like friendly main storage. And then we also want to say hi to our lovely Tiana. She keeps the harbor pretty safe. Build number 9. Why not build some houses? Build some harbor homes. Add that vibe, the feeling. This one's a bookstore actually. Yeah, this was a place for like my bookstore to kind of add like maybe a study area right here. And this person usually is here, but I guess maybe they're taking a break. They're upstairs actually. It's kind of like a book selling shop. And then these homes are all just simple, regular homes. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how that happened, but it's all cleaned up now. But we've got interiors here. Most of my builds have interiors. Some of them are very, very simple, very bare. But at least everything has an inside, at least something for sure. I don't want to leave my homes completely empty, but we've got a ton of different types of homes here. Maybe just add some like town style homes. It can be completely different. It can be all the same. It can be whatever you want. This is just kind of an idea of like what I did. That is kind of my whole goal with my forever world, to build in different styles, become a better builder, and just try everything I can at that moment that makes sense. Your goals can be obviously completely different. My goal is just to kind of give you ideas on hopefully inspiring you on what to build. Maybe add some traveling wagons. Ever thought of maybe other people, other worlds, other kingdoms visiting this kingdom or village? Yeah, they sell paintings, more like, you know, little antiques. They have like some flowers up above as well. And then as well as I added sniffers, kind of pulling the carts. Obviously they're like the largest creatures, so I thought it made the most sense that they're the ones who move the carts. Somehow this happened. I guess this is how some of the villagers got stuck here. Interesting. Well, they're free now. They can do whatever they like. Those are the roaming villagers. I guess they got stuck in here somehow. It's more like a kind of like a restaurant. I don't know what they're exactly selling because I didn't place any plates. Obviously, you guys are gonna be fishermen because I got barrels everywhere, and obviously that's gonna be the easiest to be. Who doesn't love decorating with barrels? But similar thing, I have 2 sniffers in this one since it is a larger home. I guess sniffers are very strong, and it was a great way to use sniffers. I feel like sniffers are not really used that much, for mainly just for these flowers, and then that's it. Build number 9, 10, 10, 9? I don't know. I've lost count. Whatever build we're on, that is the build. Maybe build some other homes, just like homes part of the town, have different vibes, maybe even have some of them diagonal. And then as well as we've got a couple more of regular homes as well. Good different vibe, a lot of awnings, a lot of different colors, little mismatches of, you know, things. And I just wanted to mess with different textures. Since this was my first village, I just wanted to kind of practice and figure out what worked well and what like my kind of build style was. Build number 10. I don't know. Are we on 10 or 11? We have the nice, beautiful greenhouse. Maybe you got that green thumb, or maybe you want to add a little bit of bees. Add some flowers, add some different colors. I added the beetroot because I like the red pop, so it made the most sense to me. I do have carrots growing outside here as well, and a couple more beehives as well out here. And actually, this whole large storage system back here is actually a honey farm. That's like my way of hiding a honey farm. Added all the different types of flowers. I even added a custom tree that kind of crashed into it or kind of grown with it. But I like this. I like the vibes. I like the outside of it too. Just having a little part where the bees can roam free around as well. And then having the greenhouse have like maybe a safer spot for them to roam into. But maybe you like tending to the animals. Maybe you love animals. We got our beautiful barn. I added a nice custom tree to add just a little more greenery out here. I did want to show that this barn was very aged, very old. I did add these kind of barnish open doors. I don't really know how it makes sense. We're not here to make it super realistic. This is my buddy River. This is like kind of like a shepherd dog, you know. Gotta round up all these sheep. This is my nice lovely wool farm. This is kind of like a little bit of a hidden storage system. Got even a horse stable, 2 horse stables, because sometimes I do stop by here with Mabel, so I have a nice spot for that. And then I just put an extra horse in there just to let you know, hey, this is a horse stable. And then as well as we have the roaming other animals that, you know, I don't really breed or touch or anything like that. Just more for aesthetics, to kind of show that this is, you know, a nice barn where we take care of all the animals. We got little huts, little pens and things for all of them. You can have a chicken coop, obviously. Gotta have a chicken coop. Build number 13. So we've got a beautiful windmill. Moving on with the farming side of things. We've got the wheat. This was my very early supply of food as well. Gotta love bread. Bread's so nice and easy to make. You get a lot of it, a lot of wheat from these fields. Honestly, I was planning to expand this wheat field at some point. I might even add some more builds out here for the farms. Not exactly sure what I would want to do though. But even this windmill, I wish one day we can have rotation, not without too many mods. I don't want to add too many mods, just to add a little bit of rotation, but hopefully in vanilla Minecraft one day. Inside we have kind of like a grinding mechanism, but obviously that's not real. It's all a ruse. What's actually happening is we have 2 villagers up here farming wheat for us. Technically they're just working. It's not the most efficient farm, but I just kind of want to edit it for like the vibes, the feel. You can reach all the way to the top of this windmill with some scaffolding tricks. Not exactly the best mechanism. I wish I could come up with something a little bit better, but this right here is our beautiful village that we just walked through, and you can kind of see what our next build is going to be. Moving on to our next build, we've got a beautiful sugar mill farm. Yeah, sugar mill farm. It does use a water wheel mechanism, kind of, I guess, grind the sugar cane. We have the inside here, which has a bunch of rotating wheels, I guess, to add that vibe of, you know, sugarcane being kind of grinded. Even though I do just leave it at the sugarcane because I don't actually need that I don't really need the sugar, but it's just more for, you know, imagination a little bit to just make it seem like we're kind of grinding the sugar cane. We got even sugar cane growing over here, obviously. Got a little sugarcane field that we harvest, throw in the grinder, and make sugarcane. I did like how this build came out, especially the water wheeled side of it. And I like the different texture I used on this one. Also, don't forget to build bridges. There's obviously definitely multiple different types of bridges. I've got a lot of stone bridges on this kingdom, this world as of right now. So a lot of my bridges are kind of this curved arch shape with, you know, stone and tuff and a lot of dark deep slate to kind of give that dark underbelly on the bridge. I obviously have a little overgrown on everything I do. So I do have some greenery and an overgrowth even on the bridge, as well as showing the age of things. And then I think bridges are a great way to kind of give an entrance to a village. It's a great idea to have like a forced walkway, so that way you can kind of breathe in what you're looking at without having to focus too much where you're walking. I think bridges are a great entry point to towns. It just kind of gives that vibe, kind of gives that feel. You can just take a look and see what the world is like, and then once you're in the town, that's when you start roaming around and looking at everything else that you saw on the bridge. Have you ever wanted to just build a creeper farm and you can't come up with a like AFK spot that makes sense? Maybe most people use like little airships, maybe even, you know, different types of things that are in the air. But what if you just made a really tall tower? So this creeper farm has a little bit of history to it. This used to be a very, very bustling kingdom. This whole area used to be built up. We've got ruins all over the place. We've got little wreckages. We've got most of it covered in snow. Most of this place is just uninhabitable anymore. And this was my way to make sense on why there is a snow biome right next to the kingdom without having to build too much on the snow part of it. So I created kind of like a very, very ruined castle and a lot of different vibes in here. This is, you can see a lot of magic happened here where there was like a crack into the actual earth, which caused a lot of damage to this castle. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to add this kind of wreckage vibe. But as you can hear creepers already. If you go all the way up here and AFK at the top, you will get creeper drops. Ever thought of maybe making a very secret house? So secret that maybe there's a little bit of a path. I was trying to hide it a little bit, but obviously to us, it's very obvious there's a path here. To most of people here, you know, they don't really know what's going on here. Very secretive. secret. So this was actually my first build, my starter home. This is where the whole world started, giving the vibe of a nice little storage, everything you need inside. I even added crops in here just to kind of give that vibe. I've got my cat Duchess here. I even have my 2 pet birds up here. We got Deveria, and then we got Kiki, and obviously I have a nice loft up here for me to sleep in. And then we've got everything we need here, storage system. All of these down here are furnaces. This is how I cooked everything, but obviously I didn't want to have all of them have a furnace face. I kind of used them as like a kind of counter table and just had the back of the furnace. I even have my old armor standing right here. I did take the pants. I did have gold pants. I use them for the nether. That's why that's there. And I don't know why that door is weird. I even added these kind of like rain gutters on the floor. I use a lot of different types of builds. A lot of people really like this window design. I used 2 different spruce type doors, and then I even used the spruce in between here. This kind of like separation in the window, even though it's still an open window. This right here, no mobs can actually enter here. I don't think even baby zombies can actually enter through here. I built a lot of custom trees around this area. This was my kind of way of practicing custom trees. So you can kind of see that kind of a little bit of different vibes. Also, I do like creating silhouettes. I should have shown you in the earlier town, But I do like creating silhouettes. As you can see, these trees kind of create a very nice arch and picturesque. I'm losing my voice. Ever need a nether portal? Ever need a place to go to the nether and maybe have a different vibe rather than the typical just having a nether outside, hanging out, doing nothing cool happening with it? Maybe put it in a secret waterfall. I don't particularly love the waterfall, probably my least favorite build, but it does its job. And this is the nice secret waterfall, and this is where I have my nether portal. There's a little bit of lore in here. We got a book in here, and then we've got these pages going scattered around in this kind of enchanted room. This is where I do all my enchanting. The lore is that there's a crazy person who lived in this cave, got mad with power, figured out how to do this whole nether portal thing, enchanting and all of that stuff, and it made him very powerful, but also made him kind of corrupted with the nether, and that caused him to maybe, I don't know, maybe did all the destruction that's happened in my world. Maybe that's why the castle is a little bit broken. Possibly. But this is a nice, beautiful way to add a little more lore into your world. Just adding these little things, little nooks, and even me having this obviously secretive to everybody in the village, but it's not secretive to us. We're very aware that this is inside this waterfall right here. I haven't done anything in the nether as of yet, but one day, hopefully. Ever thought of maybe having a dragon be in your minds? This is another silhouette thing. As you can see, it's covered, and then as you start walking towards it, you start to see a dragon being kind of uncovered. Oh boy. It does look best when you are in the sky. Obviously you can see the full thing, but even this view right here, you can kind of figure out what is going on here, what is being uncovered. This is the entrance to my mines. They are obviously mining this dragon out, trying to preserve as much as they can. This one has a kind of amethyst eye. Interesting. Maybe an amethyst mine down here. Oh, there's a fox. Hi, fox. So I added these little smokes, little campfires to add a little bit of heat, because obviously we're in a dragon's mouth, so it might be a little warm in here. I added these torches. We've got the item frame with a nice polished deep slate slab, which kind of looks like it's kind of holding the torch there, and I thought that would fit very well with the mine theme. Got even glowberries hanging out to give us even more ambient lighting. We've got lichen everywhere to also give us more ambient lighting to keep obviously the mines safe. So this mines right here is actually my iron farm. We've got a rail system for ourselves, so we can take this down. A nice beautiful rail system for us to get all the way down here. Oh, as you can see, it's not working. This is our iron farm in here. We've just got villagers and obviously the zombie, your typical iron farm. And this is more of giving the vibe of like they're mining iron down here, kind of get the goods, and then they're railing it back up with the minecart into the next build, which is a nice, beautiful super smelter. You ever thought of like a blacksmith, you know, using it as a super smelter? Well, look no more. This is how they haul all this iron, all these goods that they've just mined from the mines, and then they haul it up and bring it into the super smelter. But we've got this super smelter that goes all the way across here. We have the system actually out here. This is where I actually activate these carts and send them out whenever I need to fuel things, and I add the resources that I'm smelting in there. I even gave the guy working here a nice little upstairs for him to sleep and hang out as well. Moving on to our next build. What if you were just to build a fishing village? Maybe a nice small fishing village, add some boats and some little canoes for them to kind of hang out around the docks, have different colors of different types of homes, have them all have docks and piers that they stand on, and have maybe even fish hanging on a campfire and some racks, even having different types of scraps. Make it seem like they use whatever they have available to them that's how they function. I even used the new firefly bushes here to give that vibe of a river. Added some nice riverbed texture here and added a lot of mud, you know, tough and different things. I added different types of canoes, boats. Some have sails, some don't. I added walkways for everything. You even have this guy who loves to sit in this barrel. He's a barrel sitter, loves the barrel. And then we have the beautiful tree right here that goes to a bridge. This is just the one willow tree we have. I obviously wanted to add a willow tree because it fit the vibe here. You can see the firefly particles coming online now. They've logged in and started particling. A nice river for us to kind of see the river vibes. I love it. I like it. I love it. I like it. What if you were to build your own mountain? Just build your own entire mountain and have a goddess lady that protects it and is kind of carved into it. I wish I did a little more 3Ding and kind of jutted her out a little more, but as of right now, this is kind of the vibe I like. I added a nice cherry tree. This is my first ever cherry tree. I wish I did a different angle because from the front you do kind of see it just like straight on, which is bizarre. So I wish I added the kind of curved shape on the other side here where we're entering. But this is beautiful. I like how this is turned out. This is our lady goddess gem, and she protects this kingdom right here. So I created a redstone system where it blocks this path if you don't have a tribute, which is any type of flower actually. This was my way to practice some organics, oh, I fell in the water. Adding different types of organics, adding different types of builds, adding just kind of different ways of practicing. I think next time I do something like this large of a scale, I should be able to do it a little bit better. I do a lot of these things not in creative or even using something like Lightmatica. So a lot of these are just freehands and trying to be better fundamentally. Because I think if you are able to fundamentally understand builds, you can do a lot more with that. But we've got her crying. The lore of Lady Gem is that she is apparently a giant. You know, giants used to roam this world, and obviously, as you can see, we have dragons as well. It's more of like the fantasy that everything used to exist, and she was a giant who lost her love somewhere else, and they got separated, and so now she is here helping these people as she, you know, is sad about not having her love here. Yeah. Maybe for your next build, you want to just build a nice, beautiful tunnel to go into another kingdom. Hi, this is Sherlock Bones, my beautiful, beautiful dog. And we've got so much overgrowth and overgrownness in here. I used a lot of different details here. I used the new firefly bushes for the particles. I added the mushrooms and different flowers. I even added a little bit of a creek here because there is actually a little bit of a drip. I don't know if it's worth waiting for, but there is a drip that lands exactly right here, and that kind of caused this creek to appear. We have just different greens, and that is a great way to enter us to our new beautiful kingdom. So this kingdom is still a work in progress. We've got a beautiful new starter home right here. This is more of a fairy garden kind of kingdom. We've got a bunch of allays that we found recently. We've got our new small storage system here. We've got our bed over here. We even have a window for us to look at outside. And added my own enchanting room up here because I don't want to go all the way back for just enchanting. The goal of my world is to still have different spots that you still visit because you need to use them. So having things a little bit further away and not everything compacted into one area makes me explore my world and makes me look at everything. It can get a little tedious, and it's probably not for everybody, but having separate kingdoms, separate builds, separate farms, it kind of, you know, gives you a reason to visit old builds. Build number, I assume I'm past 20 by now. I've lost complete count, but last but not least, for sure, we've got our beautiful, lovely lighthouse. So this is definitely inspired by the movie The Lighthouse. As you can see, we've got some creepy things happening at this lighthouse. It is supposed to be devoid of color, like the black and white lighthouse movie. And as well as we've got a secret little creaking. Pretty much houses this whole building and just has taken it over. It's an abandoned lighthouse and maybe some lore. I haven't actually gone into the lore of this place. I did add this flower right here. It does rain on it, and you can actually also see some sunshine at it as well, trying to give a sense of hope. There is a chance for life to belong here, or life to happen here. And then we have our lovely, beautiful tree as well. This is obviously the home of the creaking. It does spawn here more often than not, but sometimes it does spawn outside because creakings do need to go stretch to the legs, of course. Everything's pretty much abandoned and broken. Kind of lighthouse is deteriorating slowly. But the way this is also designed is the creaking does stop all the way up at the top, so you are safe all the way at the top of the lighthouse. Safe is quite a word because then you're trapped. And that is the last build. I hope you guys liked it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, this 20 plus builds. Hopefully you're feeling inspired. Hopefully you like all the builds. Let me know if you have any favorite. If you do build anything from my forever world, please go into the Discord and share it. I would love to see your builds and different types of things that you make. I appreciate everyone so much for even making it this far into the video. That is crazy. You listened to me yap that long. I know I yapped way too much on some sections. I feel so inspired to like share the story behind the build that I make. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as usual, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.